Hello, David. Well, welcome to Croatia again. It's very important because now we have some unexpected situation in Romania. There was arresting of Calin Georgescu, who is running for president in Croatia. He was supposed to become president, but they are cancel elections. And now we have a new coming. Can you explain us what is happening there?
Yes. Hi, Andrea. Thank you for having me on your show. It is indeed extremely important. People don't understand what's happening. What is really going on in the world is that there is a shift of power from evil to good, from criminal rulers to just rulers. Calin Georgescu is a prime example of this in Europe. Romania has historically been a nation that was under control of George Soros, the whole Soros network, the international deep state, for their wide array of criminal operations. Calin Georgescu is aware of this. He was for 20 years a top official at the United Nations, and he observed firsthand all their corruption, the child trafficking, the pedophilia, the money laundering, all the criminal operations, how they want to enslave humanity. Calin Georgescu decided to stand up against this, and he ran for president in Romania with unprecedented, amazing support of the people. To everybody's bewilderment, he won in a landslide the primary elections. There was a false accusation against him that he was being supported by Russia. The Constitutional Court of Romania then said, no, he is free of any charges, he's innocent. And then a few days later, George Soros or somebody from the Soros network flew into Romania, and all of a sudden, the Constitutional Court, the same court that first cleared him of all charges and declared him innocent, they said we have to annul these elections because Calin is fraudulent. So they are afraid of Calin Georgescu because he represents a threat to their a tyranny, their evil system of suppression of the people and abuse of the nation for their own agenda. There has been a major nationwide movement where hundreds of thousands of people came on the streets of Romania to express their support of Calin Georgescu. Today, he was going to submit his bid for the presidential race again, because they will reinstate the presidential elections in May. So he was on his way to submit his candidacy again, and he was arrested on the false charges of inciting an insurrection.
Okay, he's now in the jail. And you were in contact with him personally.
I am in contact with him. I've been texting with him all morning. Now he is, I don't know exactly where he is. I believe he's at the office of the Supreme Prosecutor. He is waiting on his lawyers, and he said that they are accusing him of rebellion. And indeed, he is rebelling against the criminals who are warring against the Constitution, who are destroying democracy, who are oppressing the people, who are just pawns of this international network of criminals called the deep state. He is indeed rebelling against that because he wants to restore justice, the rule of law, the constitution and democracy in his country.
We have to repeat that court dismissed his charges that he's supporting by Russians. Am I right?
Absolutely, yes. And this is how they are exposing themselves, where nobody expected that he would win the primaries. Nobody. He has no support. He doesn't even have funding for his campaign. Everybody helping him is doing it voluntarily. This is unprecedented. This is historic. This is epic. He is a nobody coming from nowhere, rising to the very top of Romania. They said that's impossible because they're used to having their handlers, billions of dollars, mind control of the public through the news media. They're used to having their entire apparatus to make sure that somebody can rise to power. Calin doesn't have any of this. He has a pure heart. He has a passion for Romania. He wants to remove Romania from the European Union, so it is no longer subject to these tyrants who are abusing Romania for their globalist agenda. He wants to get rid of the Soros network. He wants to make Romania a free country again. The people see his heart. They know his mind. They support him organically, naturally, authentically. And that is why he rose to the forefront. Then they tried to accuse him that he had played some tricks, that he had used TikTok or whatever for election interference. He doesn't even have, I mean, he is not even active on TikTok. It is the people of Romania who are spreading his mission on TikTok and on X and on Facebook and all over the world. But then the Constitutional Court, they said we have investigated and there is no fraud whatsoever. Calin Georgescu is clean. And then a couple of days later, they turned around and they said, there is fraud after all. Yes, we have to annul the elections. So they are exposing themselves as the criminals they are. And by arresting Calin Georgescu, they are doing it again. More than 50 families were raided at 6 o'clock in the morning, and that is how they terrorize the people psychologically on purpose by in a very aggressive way. They attack the homes of people who are sleeping in their beds. The children are sleeping. Everybody is calm and peaceful. And here they come with their guns and they're stomping in the door. They're shouting like madmen. They try to inflict terror. They literally want to inflict trauma on the people. 50 families were raided this morning by the police because they support this movement of deliverance, of justice, of truth, and of freedom.
And you wrote to Trump. You are asking help from Trump administration. What is in this letter?
Yes, so I am asking President Trump to intervene with power because all the evidence is on the table that Romania and the nations around the world, all of Europe, they have been influenced and they are being manipulated very strictly and very strongly by the George Soros network and by the international deep state and by the US Department of State. All these corrupt entities, they have been influencing nations around the world, installing their corrupt governments. It has now even been exposed by Elon Musk that US Aid, the so-called Foreign Aid Agency of America, that they have been sending billions upon billions of dollars to topple governments around the world, to organize coups, to interfere in elections, to position their own puppets in the governments. My plea to President Trump is to put an end to this, because we are seeing now very clearly in Romania that there is again foreign interference. They are falsely accusing Calin Georgescu of foreign interference. While he's not doing that, they are the ones who are being controlled by foreign powers. My plea to President Trump is to put an end to this, to step in and restore democracy, fair elections, justice, the Constitution, so that the voice of the people once again will rule their nation.
Thank you, David. We'll keep in touch. Just let us know what is happening, and it's necessary for Croatian audience to understand what is happening and to see that what mainstream media is reporting is just propaganda, not really both sides' story.
Exactly. This is very important for the people to understand that the mainstream news media is the #1 mind control weapon of these criminals. They lie, they deceive, they pervert, they twist the truth, they use the news to control the people. They use the news to control the people. And this is what everybody needs to understand. What they are accusing others from is what they are doing themselves. This is a very basic school book practice, very fundamental. If you are evil, then accuse your enemies of being evil. If you are doing something, if you're fascist, then you accuse them of being fascist. If you are attacking everybody else, then you accuse the others of attacking you. This is how they work. They falsely accuse Calin Georgescu of being a fascist because they are the fascists. They impose tyranny. They destroy democracy. They violate the rule of law in every imaginable way. They bribe. They are worse than mafia. If you look into it, and this is why Calin Georgescu is so powerful, because he has observed it for 2 decades, that these entities who present themselves as being good and honest, they are worse than the mafia. They do the child trafficking, child abuse. They do all the drug dealing and the money laundering and the warmongering and the enslaving of the people and enriching themselves. They are 100% pure criminals. And Calin is standing up against them.
We have a word in Croatia that every state has a mafia, and here mafia has the states.
Exactly. That's it.
Thank you.